Okay, so I didn't really expect to talk, but I'm supposed to talk on BRI in Nigeria so far. Another student was meant to give this, our new chapter president, Tola Oke, but unfortunately she couldn't get a visa to come for the conference. But we're hopeful maybe next year. Okay, so BRI in Nigeria, the slide I have doesn't really have words, it's just pictures. So just move through how from our first event to our most current event. Okay, so how we started, our very first event started on June 4th when Faith came over to Nigeria. Before it was by word of mouth, just telling residents and students and everyone about the about BRI and what we're about, and about knowing more about health policies and how we can affect change in Nigeria. Because many people were like, it's not, you went to the US, you went to get all their information over there. It's the problems are not the same, and I have to like tell them that no, of course it's not the same. The idea is that these principles involved in the message we're trying to pass across, how can we apply it? The idea is innovation. How can you make yourself a better student than knowing more than just the science? Because everybody in my school is all about the science. The University of Ibadan is peculiar anyway because, say it or not, they are kind of supposed to be the best in the country. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, is Harvard the best in this country or something? Okay, so you're like the Harvard of Nigeria. So every student is like under pressure to like succeed, and we have a lot of, we don't get suicides, but we get depression, schizophrenia, a lot of that from our students. So yeah, that's what we're coping with. But with that, I have to tell them that because before BRI, I was involved with the University of Ibadan Medical Students Association. I was like the public relations officer. I ran for financial secretary. I was planning on a career down, the Medical Student Association. And then I realized that, the Medical Student Association wasn't really doing much for the students. They were just organizing events and not really organizing events that were directed towards actually improving the students, but more of, I don't want to call them like a jamboree. They were just having fun. So, so we started BRI, and this is my content page. I don't know how to work this. So we started our first event on June 4th, and this is that day we didn't really plan. We planned it, yes, but the turnout was I can remember that day clearly. I went from block to block screaming. There was no electricity, so I had to use my voice. So I block A students, it's time for BRI. We're down here at the Pamela common room. Please come down. And then there's free food. Please come. And A, B, and they're like, no, that's G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's like 7 blocks. And I went and I was screaming, and Faith and Ekene and Zainab were busy setting up, and people started, and students on Saturdays like to do sports, so a lot of them were out playing volleyball or basketball, and you had to like, come, there's food. You guys should just leave your football, like, come over. We have a lot of interesting things to say to you. And a lot of people came. They came towards the end a bit late, but medical students can't be helped, and they, as usual, they sit at the back. So sometimes you want to get the picture, they're like, move forward, move on, like everybody's filling the seats from the back. So, so Faith is giving a wonderful talk about ultrasound, and everybody's really interested. And then we filmed a part of Poverty Inc., the documentary, and everybody was really interested, and it was really insightful. And then we gave out Noble Vision, a copy of the book, to the best students that gave the summary for the day, and that was really awesome. And we had ice cream. So, so like when you heard we're having ice cream and pizza, they're like, oh, pizza, ice cream. Normally, when you go to events, you normally just get donuts, or in Nigeria, donuts are not as good as your donuts, so or or they just get rice, and that too is not really a big deal. But pizza and ice cream, we're like, at least they came for the food, and they sat down to listen to what we had to say. Then to our next event, I was close to my obstetrics and pediatric exams, so we had to still do this rollout event. And the turnout was great. We had over 50 people sign up, but the problem was, with paying membership fee. We had to organize how to get a membership fee. Our membership fee, I think, for here is $25, but when naira is unstable, explain to students that you have to pay $25. That's about, can I, 25 times 500. That's about 12,500 naira. And some people's allowance is not even up to that. So he had to tell them, okay, he had a flat rate of about 5,000 naira. And then I still had to tell them that you don't have to pay immediately. If you're interested in BRI, join us. I'll sign you up. And I gave them about a month to like come up with the money. Some people were giving me 2,000 naira, 1,000, 1,000, 2,000. But it was okay. I was like, it's fine. You're interested, so that's good. And then even out of the 40 to 50 that signed up, we ended up only with about 29 people actually paying the fees. So still started with that. That was okay.
You're making them jealous. These guys don't have 29 members.
Okay, so these are the guys, and we had to explain to them about, and then we had to, at least we put out sweets. So that was another incentive. We just put out the flyers, and some of them just came by and they were just, okay. One person just stood and was taking sweet after sweet and was just taking sweet. I was like, okay, be alright. And he's just reading the flyers and dropped it and he signed up. But, some people sometimes just come around for the food or for the drinks. Okay, so before we started our very first event as a chapter, after the sign-ups and all, I wanted BRI to kind of have like a legacy, something we could be doing like a charity event. So I went to this home. This home is um it's a bit far from the university. It's a Monia Rehabilitation Home. There are children there that have, it's actually for children with um, mental health disabilities. So they have children with cerebral palsy. It's a government-run place, but with everything in Nigeria, mm, they don't get much of funding anymore. So what they do is the private people come around and help them. The program is such that every year they get about 80 to 90 students with children with cerebral palsy and try to rehabilitate them to at least be financially independent, teach them in bead making, soap making, so that they can at least be not be dependent on, because having things like cerebral palsy and disabilities in Nigeria, it still has a lot of cultural stigma to it. So you're facing the fact that your mom thinks you bewitched the whole family and you are the cause of their headache in the whole family. They are spending all their money, the little of which they make on you for your care. And it's not like there's no free healthcare in Nigeria, so there's no insurance, so you don't have any of that. It's actually out of pocket for most people, which is great if they were getting the standard of care, but that's another story. Okay, so I went to the Monia Rehabilitation Center and we talked to them, and I was thinking that maybe a second major event for the year would be like getting doctors. I was thinking of going to the psychiatry department, actually make a psychiatrist, consultant psychiatrist, so we could do just one event and have physicians, students, residents come around. We could get drugs donated and like check up these children and just make sure they have basic, like just do like a screening to know what they need and maybe refer them to the main hospital. And maybe if you can get extra funding, you could just, you know, get them treated for free. And this was our first event. We were able to get two consultants. The second one is actually Professor Uwaje. She's actually the head of department for the community health department in UCH, which is great because we met her the day before, and then the next day she was HOD, and I was like, yay, I'll be alright. And then the second is Dr. Adewale, is the one in front, and he's been really, really supportive. It comes around, asks me like practically every week, when is your next event? Aisha, you've not said anything. We have to have a next event, and I'm like, sir, don't worry, we're getting on it. We're trying to organize things and make sure that the students also play their part, even though so everybody is on board with that. And that's Zainab doing the sign up. So what we did is, aside from, we don't do the Google form or RSVP. So you come and then you get some material and then you write down your name, your email address, and then you go into the event. And this is so this Dr. Adewale is talking about how we could use BRI as a platform for empowerment. Getting a well-rounded education, not just the science, knowing our policies, and then we also talked when he started speaking on some very because he's into health financing and policy. That's his department in the hospital. Like that's his department in the hospital. So he's well grounded on that in Nigeria. So he started talking about things like new regulations on residency in Nigeria and internship, and a lot of new BRI members were actually like, so we have new regulations, like a lot of things that they didn't know before, and they were like, wow, this would be a really nice place to stay and get the information that we need. And Ekene, yeah, she was talking about experience at last year's conference, and yeah, that got people really wound up and you know encouraging them to like this is going to be great. And this is Dr. Adewale on the far left. This is a master's PhD student. That's me, and that's a resident in the community health department. So we represented the university at the Oyo State Health Insurance Agency meeting. So this was a meeting that held on 17th of August last year, and Dr. Adewale just called me that Aisha, come along. You have to be here to listen, and if you have anything to say, you can contribute. So we went there. It's actually the state was trying to start like an health insurance scheme for all the members of the state. Now, the normal NHIS that we have in the countries, there are different schemes for everybody, but the problem is states are not keen into it because of the federal government's policy on how the state's involvement. It's like we are going to give you free health, we are going to give you money, but you have to give us some back. So they don't really they don't really like that idea of you giving us money and then we have to give you back, and what we have to give you back has to be a bit more than what you give us. So the the workings of it, the state governments didn't really buy into it. So a lot of states don't actually have health insurance for their citizens. So what they do is they are trying to come up with their own kind of insurance for their state. So Oyo State was trying to do that. That's where UCH is, and they were trying to do that for their citizens. And at this meeting, what I noticed was there was a lot of people. People came there with a different agenda, and I actually surprised myself because you had pharmacists, nurses, you had lab technicians, you had doctors, you had everybody, and they were talking about health insurance. And then you had the health management, HMOs and insurance companies too there, and everybody was discussing about people. And they said you had the bronze, silver and gold card, that the minimum would be 7,500 naira, and they were just setting this really really high. It's like when you want to help people, but you don't really know their problems, and you're just saying things because you have an assumption. So, and then a lot of them even came for self-interest, and they were like, you have to include us, the pharmacists, and then the nurses say you have to include us. And I, that was one time when I surprised myself. I stood up and I told them that all of you have all been talking about, pharmacists' role in this, the nurses' role in this, the lab technicians' role in this. What about the patient? Like, I thought we are all here for the patients, and you are telling someone that is going to pay 7,500. What about outliers? How do you talk about for someone that's okay? You say someone is going to pay 7,500 naira for a year, but you don't really tell the person what the person is going to get for that year. At the end of the day, the person may not even get the right medication for the kind of illnesses that they need. So what happens if somebody comes up with a child that has a child with leukemia suddenly, and I can only afford the 7,500 naira plan? Definitely, the insurance companies won't tell you that that person won't be able to get the kind of insurance on that 7,500. They will just tell you, yeah, it's great, get insurance, 7,500. It's a great deal. But they don't get them what they need. Because we actually have situations where the insurance that they're offering in UC doesn't cover some basic investigations, like football count, that's CBC. There was a time and then they had to sort that out. And later they say the insurance that you have doesn't cover an MRI, and then you have all these kind of things, and you're trying to sell things to people, but you're not really, really negotiating for the people. So I had to remind them, and then after that, I got a lot of thumb on the back. There was a lot of doctors were telling me, yeah, you're a student. So I was like, yes, BRI. Okay. So, and then, so our next event, so we are getting ready. We are moving forward. It's a step-by-step process. So, Dr. Adewale has been very nice, very, very gracious to us. He's provided us with material. His most recent material, he gave us the current policies, like a book on all the policies in Nigeria, what we need to know, and it says everybody's going to get an assignment. You're going to read up on this, and then before you graduate. So we're starting with the most senior class. Because what I noticed in our membership is that I have a lot of people in my class signing up because a lot of them are actually looking for direction after school. They are graduating in like 8 months. Oh, okay. There's not much after that. Okay, they are graduating in about 8 months, and they don't know, what to do after school. They are not sure what direction or which way to go. So they really want to get involved. So it's like, okay, fine, we'll let you know about these policies, and then everybody's going to have an assignment. So it came and there it was teaching us how to use the referencing app and how to write a proper policy paper. So it's like everybody's going to an assignment. You're going to write about 2 or 3 before you graduate on a particular topic on each. So we had, I think it's like 60 to a 58 to 60-page document. So you get about 1 or 2, and then you have to like expand on it and write something very proper up on it. And then the first step was actually learning how to write the way we want to write. So that was a paper presentation writing workshop seminar. So that's what we had. The problem, one of the challenges I've been facing is that we are 29, and sometimes we won't all be 29 at one sitting. You call for meetings and people don't show up. They give you excuses. I'm going somewhere. I have something to do. I'm busy. And then they say so nicely. Someone will even say, "Oh God, I won't be there." And then they are so nice saying it, but you can't really. It's like you say, if you really want to do something, do it. Why you can make 1,001 excuses not to do it, but it's really making the effort to actually turn up and show up. I have other, but then I try to also smile about it and be nice to them. So way forward for BRI in Nigeria. I graduate in October, so I'm actually looking for a way of expanding. I know that's if Beth will allow, you know. And then I get a lot of calls from interns and residents concerning their interest in BRI and what they can do, what can they benefit, and then sometimes when I talk to some residents, they get really, really wound up, and then I'm like, okay, you have to wait a bit. But when you go for your association of resident doctor meetings, you can say this and say that and do this and do that. And that's your own input in that way. So I'm hopeful. I already have a new set of officials. Tola Oke, Ogon, I have president, VP, secretary, financial secretary, and a public relations officer, and our tech person, because I'm not tech savvy at all. Okay. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.